Z06 package. It's actually the 50th anniversary edition. It comes with 405 horsepower with 400 foot-pounds of torque stock, like a 10.5 to 1 compression ratio. 6-speed manual. This particular one's in the electron blue. It's fully loaded with all the modes and power seat. So I get a lot of people ask me, why this car? I've always been a GM guy, and I've always loved the Corvettes. It's so much like the history, the Americana behind it. Like, it's not just a car, it's not just a machine, which most cars are that way to me anyways, but this one in particular holds a special spot. I still actually remember the night. I was back in high school, and there was a car meet at the north end of the town, and went to every Saturday night up at Burger King on 9 Mile, and it was like late 02 when they first come out with the 03. They were just putting them out, and I remember seeing my first 03 with this electron blue, the Z06, and I fell in love with that car that night. And it was funny, the song ROXANNE was actually playing in the background, and the guy had like a red light inside of it or something. The moment was just right, and I was like, I knew two things: that one day I was going to own one of these, and one just like that, and then her name was going to be Roxanne. And it only took me 15 something years later, but I finally did it. So like I said, this was 15 years it took me to get the car that I want. I've actually been looking heavy for like the better part of 8 or 10 years, and always life, something gets in the way. Either had to, it made more sense to buy a truck or this or that. And I've looked at a ton of these, and sat in a lot of them, driven a lot of them, and many times I just sat down and like, no, this isn't the one. This isn't what I want. And sometimes there was one that I wanted, and just money wasn't right. And so about almost a year ago now, we got to the point financially to where I knew it was the best time to do it. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to have, my vet. I've wanted the Z06 forever. So I started looking around, and I found this one actually like on Auto Trader or something. And I seen the pictures, and I was like, that's it. That's the car I want. And so I got a hold of the guy and talked to him for a little while on the phone for an hour or so. He's a real cool guy. You could tell he was a car guy. Got a little bit of back history on my car, and he had got it and everything. And at the time, I didn't know who I was speaking to. I just knew his name was Keith. And so I ended up, we had to refinance our house, do some other stuff. So I told him, I said, hey, look, I said, I can't do it right now. I'm very interested in the car, but if you still have it in a couple months when I'm done and I'm ready, I would love to definitely move forward and get it. So it all kind of worked out because he had some stuff going on, and I ended up getting back in touch with him a couple months later, and was telling him, I said, hey, I made that phone call knowing, I was like, in the back of my head, the car's gone. There's no way he still got it. Like, I'm back to square one. I'm gonna have to be searching again. And I called him, and he said, yeah, I still have the car. And he said, I'm glad. He said, you called because I lost your number. And so I guess he had a ton of idiots trying to wanting to buy the car. Nobody had any money or all this, tire kickers. And so I got talking, and then I realized who I was speaking to. It was actually Keith with TRC. That racing channel. And because I asked him, I was like, hey, I was thinking about doing, I got a shop I'm starting, and thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Would it be okay if I did some filming and stuff? And he's like, yeah, that's totally cool. And he told me who he was, and I was like, that's awesome, and it was really cool. And so it was a couple weeks later, even barely 2 weeks, I got all the financing, everything in line, and got a plane ticket, and my amazing wife drove me to the airport at like 3 in the morning, and I flew down to South Florida, and got to the airport, and I was.
Today, the dream finally comes true. 15 years later, Mike finally gets his vet. This is like just the beginning of like so many big things. We're so excited for much bigger things too. We're super stoked.
I still remember like getting off that plane and it started really sinking in, especially when I got out to the front, and he actually came to pick me up and in the car, and like my hands were shaking, like the camera was shaking, like I was so excited. This moment, this dream of mine for so long, I finally, because growing up, like I never had any money. I definitely didn't have no mama or daddy's money or anything like that. Like I was thankful to drive what I had, and to finally have that dream realized, like it's, that dream just comes alive every time I hop in this car. So I was still kind of in shock after getting off the phone with him, that the car still like was available. And I told my wife, I said, we had just got through refinancing the house, and I had told her, I said, like the day we get out of that lawyer's office, we sign and close papers and everything on the house. I said, I'm making a phone call and calling to see. And I called him, and he still had it. And so sure enough, and so right after that, I called and got financing secured and everything. And I had seen this car in pictures. I hadn't seen video or anything. Just like talking with the guy, I could tell like he was legitimate. He was a car guy, and he really, and I was like, look, is the car what it is you're saying it is and everything? And it was, thank God. But I literally just, I was like, all right. So I had financing secured. I owned the car before I even seen it. And so I got out that morning, it was flying out, and I said, here we go, like what the hell am I doing? But it totally did not regret it. It worked out amazing. The car was everything he said it was, and then some. So yeah, it was a huge leap of faith, but after so long, I was like, I knew this was the car I wanted. So the car, for all practical purposes right now, is still pretty much bone stock. I've been so busy with getting the shop, off the ground, and with us getting the YouTube channel going and everything. Like this is just kind of like, financially, it's really just kind of taking a back burner. But the car is like the pivotal point of this whole shop. It's in the logo, as you'll notice. Like it's everywhere, and that's what I wanted it to be. Is just this car to be front and center. And the only thing I've really done to it was we actually a couple weeks ago did the LS, the blue valve spring upgrade. Wasn't sure if this one had the bad ones that were known for braking, so didn't want to risk it. So we did that. I did the skip shift eliminator, and really that's it. Like this car is bone stock. But so my goals with this car are to keep it a street car. I don't want to turn this thing into a race car. I still want it to be fun to drive. Like I've literally, when I flew down there, I drove that car 10 hours back the next day, and straight back, and loved every second of it, and got almost 30 miles to the gallon on the way back. It's one of the great things about this car with a 6-speed double overdrive and the gear ratio that's in it. You run 75, 80 mile an hour and throw it over 6 gear, you get almost 30 miles a gallon. In town, if you're not playing around, you get almost 20. Fun fact, like when we bought this, first thing everyone says, oh, it's bad, it's going to get terrible mileage, and your insurance is going to be insane. Well, so I have almost as much trunk space with this FRC, the fixed roof coupe, as my wife's 2012 Accord. Not only that, when we had this and the F250 that I had at the time, and her car, out of the three, this was the cheapest. Same insurance across the board. So don't let anybody tell you that these cars are like stupid expensive, they're terrible. This is actually like bang for the buck. Like the C5 is such an amazing car, especially the Z06. You know, I picked this thing up for really low 20s. Car barely had 40,000 miles on it when I bought it. Like it was mint, it's still mint. Like the interior still smells new. And that's why I fell in love with this car. But my goals are to have, you know, at least 650 to the wheels. That's, you know, my goal. But I want to keep it a street car. I still want to be able to hop in this car. I've actually driven down to Florida for one of TRC's events a couple weeks ago, and 10 hours there, 10 hours back, you know, and the car is fun to drive. You don't get, you know, where it's like you can't hear yourself think or anything. So, and all that's going to be on the channel. Where, you know, there'll be different episodes throughout, you know, on everything we do, from suspension upgrades to brake upgrades, some different bracing issues, you know, like the drive line. Of course, you get some drivetrain upgrades. This thing will definitely see a supercharger, more likely an A&A supercharger kit on it. And it's different things. Like I said, my goal is about 650 to the wheels. Might end up a little bit more than that. You know, we'll probably end up squaring it off with the wheels. And you know, I want to be able to do everything in this thing. If I want to hop and drive 10 hours, I can. If I want to go out to the drag strip, play around a little bit, I can. You know, if I want to do a little bit of road coursing or some autocrossing events, I can. And that's my goal with this, is to, you know, not be like, you know, like this a dedicated strip car, you know, when we're running 7s in the quarter or something stupid. I want it to be kind of a jack of all trades, and I don't want to ever lose that feel like a lot of people do. They end up building it becomes a race car that it's not fun to drive all the time. So. So, and part of that, and part of the reason is like I said, you know, the history with these cars. So, you know, you've got Corvettes been around. You know, this was the 50th anniversary of the Corvette, but it's also the 40th anniversary of the Z06 package. And it's another reason why it meant so much to me to have an 03, was for that reason. The Z06 was basically, you know, the Corvette team, you know, Duntov and his crew giving the middle finger to the higher up, saying that, hey, we're going to build a track-ready car that they can sell on the showroom floor. Because at that time, they had the, you know, gentleman's agreement with all the manufacturers. Hey, no factory-back racing. And he's like, no, that's not going to work. We're going to do that. So it's that rebellion, you know, that kind of attitude that I love that in the history of this car. And that's what we even keep that theme with it is, you know, it's a car you can drive down the street, no problem at all, but still have plenty of power on tap to go out to the track. I get a lot of people ask me, you know, it's like, you ever plan on selling the car? You know, are you gonna build it and then, you know, just get rid of it? No, this is my baby. Like, I fought so hard and so long for this car. You know, it's been my dream car. And, you know, I get a lot of people ask, why didn't you buy a brand new one? Why didn't you do all this? And man, for like low 20s, I got one hell of a car. And I found like the one I wanted. Mileage and everything. I don't care to ever get rid of this thing. You know, hell, they'll probably end up burying me in this car, but, you know, and I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, like I didn't buy this car for, you know, investment to keep miles down or anything. It's like, I'll drive it till it's got 1 million miles on it. I don't care. This is my baby.